14. It's now time for our Money Monday segment. 11 News has a team of financial experts to answer your questions about your money.
Let's go now to Saving Sense reporter Sherry Williams. She's here in the studio live with one of our experts for us to answer all these questions. Sherry?
That's right. Team member Rich Rosso is joining us this morning. Good morning to you,
Good morning,
Rich.
Sherry.
Rich is a certified financial planner for Charles Schwab. So let's get to a few of the questions that viewers have.
Absolutely.
One viewer question, what percentage of our monthly take-home pay, they want to know, should be spent on fixed expenses, utilities, mortgage, insurance, fixed costs that don't change from month to month?
This is a good question because these are what we call financial health percentages. That's what I call them anyway. So I'll give some rules of thumb that you could use overall. No more than 28% of your gross income on housing.
Gotcha.
No more than 30% on those fixed expenses. And no more than 36% of your gross pay on total expenses. And for 2011, Sherry, you should look to bring those percentages even into much lower levels.
So when you look at the cost of everything you need to live, the mortgage, the utilities, the groceries even, you said 30%.
Well, remember, groceries can sometimes be variable, right?
Okay.
So your total expenses, no more than 36% of your gross take-home pay.
Rich,
I know that's tough.
I'm not going to lie then. I'm not within those brackets.
You got to work on them and direct the rest towards savings as best that you can. And mortgage originators look at those numbers. A lot of debt initiators look at those numbers. You want better rates, you've got to stick to those percentages.
Very quickly, at those numbers, what percentage of your gross income would you be saving?
Well, again, you want to try to save at least 10-15% of your, at least that.
Okay.
Of your total gross.
Okay, because I'm trying to figure out the numbers, how you get to 100%. That seems like
well, because you got to consider, we're not considering taxes and all this, right? And all that other stuff.
I see what you're saying. All right, next question. What should I do first? Pay debt or build an emergency fund?
Well, both are important, but I say do both. It just depends on whether you have the emergency fund started already. Now, you're not going to earn much on your savings.
No.
And you're going to pay 15, probably 16% on average on your credit card, right? But you don't want another emergency expense going on the credit card.
Right.
So if you don't have an emergency fund, direct as much as you can to the emergency fund, at least to get up to 3 months worth of your take-home or your expenses taken.
Just for instance, they had, let's say, $300 a month that they could either pay down some debt or put into savings. What percent?
Okay, so if you already have an emergency fund started, then do half and half.
All right, and if not?
Then you want to direct most to the emergency fund, at least until you bolster it up, because you don't want something breaking down, and then you're going to increase your debt load even more.
And
you're never going to pay it off.
Cycle that never ends.
That's
You're
right. That's right.
Rich is going back to our newsroom to respond directly to your questions, so go ahead and email them to me, swilliams@khou.com.